yeah, some consortium are going to happen. That I'm highly confident that a few consortium will emerge from this challenge. So, and stay tuned. I think that a few we will be able to announce rather soon. So, that's our experience with startups. And I think, Thomas, you are the one making the announcement of the third leg, or I do? I do? Okay. So we have been thinking a long time, okay, what else can we do for startups? Because this is something we hear a lot as an industry. Of course, we need to produce durable product and so on, but it's important to stay alert on what's happening, and it's also important to offer a platform to startup. And we have also realized through managing this open challenge, which is actually done for us by a consultant, but who over 2 years has more turned as a colleague, I think, to us, Devika Watal. Unfortunately, she didn't get her pass to the blue zone for today, but she will be here tomorrow. And she will be speaking and liaising with startups in the green zone over the next couple of days. But we thought that we could offer something additional to the start, and we are proud to say that we are launching a third platform of our Innovandi brand, which is our Innovandi Entrepreneur Network. And so it's really for the startup to join this shared mission to reach net zero. So again, we are still focused on reaching net zero, and it will be open to any startup interested in collaborating with GCCA and its members to support our mission. It's different than the Open Challenge, right? We are not offering consortium, but we are offering joining this ecosystem of startup, trying, to really look at all what we can call green tech in the building materials sector to foster this net zero transition. Now, what are we offering to the startups, which we encourage to join? And actually, I will reveal it afterwards, but we already have 11 startups in 4 days who have said we want to be part of this. It's first, we will do a mentorship program for them with Devika, who is very, very skilled, because she's the one also preparing the startup for the pitch day and so on. So a mentoring program via 4 webinars, workshop per year, where we will, of course, invite external speakers, why not investors or members to speak. So 4 webinars per year. Of course, first-hand information on our next open challenge, on our program, so that startups are in the starting block to apply. Of course, networking with our members, so that will be a vitrine where a startup will be exposed as well to the world, because the startup logo will be displayed on our website. And of course, we ask a small admin fee to the startup to manage all this, but I think compared to many entrepreneur network, this is a very reasonable fee. It's really more has to be seen by startups who are listening to us as a admin fee to join our network. And now, those are the ones that have already said, yes, we are interested. So far, we haven't put this out public. It's actually the first public announcement now. All those startups are actually coming. Their logo you will recognize either from our finalists from 2022 challenge, or a startup from this challenge, or startups that were actually, and this is what is nice with this entrepreneur network, is that even startups from the first challenge that even were not selected as finalists have now the opportunity of being part of the GCCA family that we, in fact, if I may say that, Thomas, I think that's a nice way to put it. So we hope that many more will follow, because I also believe it's important for the startup to have a forum where they can speak to each other, also see what are others doing? Do I have competitors on the market? And I hope it also will be a useful fishing pond for members to look. So for each startup, we are asking for the logo and a short description of what their technology is. We are not assessing the technology here. It's really only exposing the startup to the world. And I think that's my last slide. I don't know if there are questions, if some of our members want to make a comment or share their experience. I see some fellow members in the room. That's also welcome, and maybe Thomas wants to say a word to conclude as well.
Any questions? Comments? No question, no comments. Yeah, question. We have a question, please. I thought we will give you the microphone to
Because then the
people on.
streamline can hear you.
Thank you.
Wait, working.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes. Kind
Oh.
of. Si. I have.
Yeah, I turned it up. Okay. Um, so great. I'm a grad student. I'm learning about all this in real time, and it's just blowing me away. But by what I'm hearing in this talk, I had a two-part question. One is about scalability of the CCS technologies that we've been talking about, and all the new startups and all of that, and you know for your goals, what percent are you seeing? What is the percentage that you will grow year by year? What is the end goal by 2040, 50, or all of that? The other question that I had was there's a company called Brimstone in California, which actually has a new process of building cement which does not use CO2 at all. So rather than using silicate, then capturing it, they're trying to do new technologies that does not involve CO2 at all. So are you also thinking about just, flipping the whole industry on its head and thinking about innovative, scalable ways for that? Thank you.
I take the scalability on maybe you answer more specifically on Brimstone. If you, I don't know if or is this but I take the scalability part. Okay. I think scalability is really the core of the discussion on innovation in the cement and concrete sector. We have to understand that the footprint of consumptions of cement is extremely global. Cement is a product that is available and that is produced in all the parts of the world, and including and it follows a specific geological reality, which is what is available on the planet Earth. And when we think as GCCA, when we think development, and you can see it on our roadmap, the fundamental question we have on all these technologies is how do we scale it? How do we scale it given the reality of the specific countries, given the geology of the countries, given the whether we have a country that is green, that we have forests, whether you have countries that do not have these opportunities, and how also is the industry, the construction industry structured itself. Construction industry is an industry that is relatively conservative, we could say that. And if you look at a workplace 100 years ago, and you look at the workplace today, it's the things that really have changed is the helmet on the head, on the safety boots on the foot, right? So we need to keep that in mind also in the way we use and in the way we have the possibility to have new product and new technology penetrating this market and developing and being taking core and shape in the construction environment. So fundamentally, that's really one big thing. But the core thing is really the geology, and what we have seen on there are many universities that have demonstrated that is the viability of the material is such that you don't have that many mineral that can replace limestone as a base for construction material, right? And the limestone transform into concrete is a very specific, but it's a very wide and simple and easy way to do. And the footprint we have is not so much related to the per ton of material. I mean, typically you have more CO2 per ton of steel, or you have more CO2 per ton of other material, but if not by the success and the popularity of the product that we sell. Cement is concrete is the second most used material by man after water. So in reality, it's the first material used by man. So replace that. We have to keep that in mind when we talk about substitution on scalability, right? So they are, and I can take the point of Winston if you have something specific. Okay, you take Winston, but fundamentally the question is, can this be transposed somewhere else, right? And whether sometimes the footprint of the material is not just considered in a narrow way, that yes, do not have processed CO2 emissions, but might have some upstream or downstream consequences on the possibility to scale. But maybe Claude has a more specific.
I mean, you see, Brainstorm hasn't applied to your open challenge. We were wondering if they would. They haven't. But I think Thomas has said it, but this really applies to Brimstone, is the availability of the raw material. If you look, I invite you to come to our event on calcined clay, because we will have Professor Karen Scrivener of ETH Zurich speaking, and she will start, if she does as everyone, she will start her speech by explaining the chemistry. I won't do it as good as well as she does it, and she will explain to you why the Portland-based cement is actually still the way to work around. It's just because that's the chemistry of our planet we are living on. And there is no other material that is so plentiful as limestone, and that has the hydraulic properties that we need, right? To make the concrete that we need at scale, because we have seen from Thomas' presentation. So we may have some innovation for niche applications, right, and local products, and a roadmap cons some 5% of these new binders for certain applications. And I also think that in all those processes that claim that they have no CO2 emission, and that says we have zero, no, that doesn't exist. Look at Brimstone in detail. The emissions are somewhere else, but the process needs a lot of energy. And the process, the Brimstone process, as far as I understand it, needs as well a lot of capital. It's a highly capital and energy intensive process. No direct CO2 emission, but I believe that in this discussion we need to look at the whole scope. We need to look at scope 1, 2, and 3 and understand what the process does require as well. And then we can really compare things like for like. So that's also important in this discussion. And those are conversations we are having with the startups, even in our challenge, because everyone says, oh, my process is zero. But then we have to understand how much energy does it require. Because those are also emissions. And then, yeah, but if we have renewable, but so far we don't, right? We as well, the day we will have renewable, it will already much more less. I think that Raju wants to speak.
So I can repeat again. Good morning, Thomas and Cloud and all the people here. I think on behalf of as a industry, I can say that I think GCC has provided a platform for the industry to look beyond their other side the industry also. Because if I take myself as a industry, as a Indian player, then we only know what we know in our company, in our country. Now GCC is providing the platform where we know outside company, not that outside countries also what's happening. So it's a wonderful platform for all of us to learn from other industries and other players what can be done differently. As we know that cement industry 100 years we are knowing and we are mastered to emit the CO2. Now I think this is time for us to master how to emit and abate also, how to abate that also. Coming back to the Innovandi and this innovation challenge, what you said, and I was smiling that because when we had the first consortium discussion, and I tell you this was the first type of the initiative or first type of actions industry has seen, because we are very much buying and selling and all these kind of things, but how to engage the third parties to this kind of things. So it was a learning for all of us. So I can say the first time we were a bit hesitant because I do not know how this will work, but now the first phase has proven that it can give lot of opportunity to learn it and maybe pave our path towards the implementing in coming years. Second phase, I think, which is going very fast and very, I think, the meetings are things are happening, is really giving a lot of opportunities to the industry also to accept that. And I think the openness, if I see the phase 1 to phase 2, openness has increased maybe the exponential, I tell you. This is where I feel this one. So thanks to the Innovandi and this all the initiative what you're bringing there, because this is a kind of an eye opener for the industries also. Thank you.
Thank you, Raju. And that's a good actually segue to conclude the discussion. So I want to welcome the new startup from the Innovandi Entrepreneur Network. I mean, this is a great development for us. I mean, the fact that we have a certain success with 11 startups joining, that's really a sign that this is the right directions. And really, we want also to give that message that our industry, it's making its little revolution, right? I mean, we have understood that going to net zero, it's not a simple thing, and that requires a change of model, a change of the way of working, and that with that comes tremendous amount of opportunities, particularly on the field of even innovation, new things, new structure, new material, new construction opportunities in general. On our roadmap, as I said, start with the way we build, so we really integrate from the beginning that the way we build should be adapted to the net zero reality. That's a fact. That's something that we believe strongly. In doing so, we really need to keep in mind, as you said, the scalability and the opportunities to really move these things on this technology to the global world. How this element, how this work will apply to, can we make it happen in India? Can we make it happen in Africa? Because that's where the big construction demand will take place in the decade to come, and that's where we need to decarbonize, right? And that's an essential part for us. So on that, I want to conclude. Raju, you have something to add? Wait, we give you a microphone.
Making an alternative cement is one thing, but second thing, to replicate the property of this hydraulic property, as you said, durability and workability, to replicate that with the new materials, still there is a long way to understand what can be done with that. Only the availability of the raw materials is the one part, because number of products are available from last 20 years, but the metals are not available to scale up. But second, to replicate the workability and the durability of the material in the conditions, still is the biggest task in front of us, not only producing the alternative cement.
And on that, I want to conclude also on the not only on innovation, but also on the fact that in our sector we have a certain sense of urgency. We have 30 years. We had 30 years when we launched the roadmap. I mean, now we are in 2024. So we need to make sure that all these technologies, on all this know-how, on all this transformation happens in the next 25 years, 26 years, 20. I mean, that's where we are today. On particularly the next 5-10 years are crucial to make things happen. And that's really our message with what we can do, with the technology we have, with the know-how we have, with the ambition we have to make the change. And our sector is making its little revolution, as I said. We are walking the talk on all these things with a certain sense of urgency on getting things happening. Thank you very much for this first session. And welcome to all of our sessions.